Welcome to FJ Cruisin. In this episode, we extend the range of our FJ by installing a Jerry Can using the Refined Cycles Jerry Can mounting system.
FJ Cruisin!
So let's go over all the components, parts, and tools needed for this job. It should be a pretty easy job. What? Don't do this, is this what I'm doing? Let's go over the parts needed for this job. The parts and tools. We need a Jerry Can. I got a 5-gallon, it might be a 5.3 gallon. I got this Jerry Can online, it cost me about $90. There are cheaper Jerry Cans out there. This one is an official NATO Jerry Can. When I got it, I was looking to see where it was made, so I looked at the sticker and look at this, folks. Made in Latvia. You're gonna need a Jerry Can holder. All right, this is a Smittybilt Jerry Can holder. It's a pretty simple Jerry Can holder. I've seen really cool ones out there, but it depends how you're going to mount them. This one, basically, the Jerry Can sits inside the Jerry Can holder. Then this goes over the back right here. Hooks on that hook there. And then it just goes right over the top so, and then it latches on right here. Bam, and then I'm gonna have to get a lock and you can lock it. I've made a modification to this Jerry Can holder right here. The way this Jerry Can holder came originally, it didn't have these brackets on the side here. It was just a straight bar coming down like this. I added these brackets. That way it holds in place the opening to the Jerry Can and also the spout, so you can't take it out. Another cool thing about this Jerry Can is that it comes with this spout, and it comes with a spout holder. Look at this spout holder right here. The spout pops right out. Got a spout holder right here, you know. So you put that spout in, bam, 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 locks in. All right. The other part is the most important part, which is here. This mount right here, look at this thing. It's heavy freaking duty. This steel here looks like it's 3/16 at least thick. It's very thick. Very heavy duty. Refined Cycles. They sent me a nice sticker. The guy probably has an FJ and he makes FJ parts, right? So shout out to Refined Cycles. The other parts on it, also 3/16 steel. Powder coated real nicely. I don't see any scratches or dents or anything missing. Basically 3 parts and a bunch of nuts and bolts. Here's the tools I set up. I'm pretty sure required for the job. I don't think I'll need anything else if it goes smoothly. Basically all you need is a ratchet and a couple of sockets. You got your 10 mil, 11 mil, 12 mil, 13 mil, 14 mil, 21 mil for the wheels. And then you got this 8 mil Allen style. Let's get this thing on. All right, first things first. We remove the spare wheel. We'll put it here for now. We'll see why later. Now we got to get this wheel holder off. It looks like 2 bolts and 2 nuts. Wow. We also have to get these 2 studs off up here. It is like a little hex star here, so we might be able to get a certain size socket around here and unscrew these. We're gonna spray some penetrating fluid on these studs here. A 9/32 socket fits right on that star shape. Ooh, oh yeah, look at that. Coming right out. You see what a stud is? Okay, next step, we gotta take a plastic piece off of this hinge over here. By doing that, we gotta open the door. Now we're gonna take this plastic covering off this hinge off here, pop it off from the inside like this, I believe. There it goes. And we'll go around the other side and grab it. So this is the plastic hinge cover. We're gonna take that off because we're gonna be utilizing this hinge here. Got a little bit of dust on it, Arizona dust. Alrighty, now what we're gonna do is install one of the first pieces from the Refined Cycles mounting system, and that's gonna go from inside the door and out. We're gonna have to remove these 2 bolts, and then we're gonna mount this. All right, what we got here is a 12mm. Okay, so you can see it when I took these bolts out, the door's wiggling here. It's loose, so be careful. Don't do this on a windy day or have a helper. We're okay, it's staying steady as long as I got this spare holding it up here. We're gonna do this quickly now. So we're gonna put this guy through there. Right on top of that hinge, just like that. It should fit. And now, I'm gonna add this. We're gonna see if we can line it all up. See if we can thread him. There he goes. Make sure you got that spacer in there that comes with the kit, and then the washer. Now that spacer has to fit in here nice and snug so it's not sticking out. Let's try to get the bottom one in here. Look how close that clearance is right there. Okay, so this spacer is going to be a little funny to get it. You basically got to wiggle the door while you're doing this to get it all centered and get those spacers in there. Stuff by hand. I'm going to have to get the tool, the 8mm Allen. This top one's going in so far. There it goes. It got stuck. See how that spacer fit in there? We need to do the same thing here. There she goes. We're going to be using Loctite on all our bolts and nuts today on this install. After all, we're going to be going on some bumpy roads. Alrighty, first part's on. There you have it. That's the first part of the Jerry Can mount. Now for the second part of the mount, second piece, we're going to install this over here. It's going to go right like that. We're going to get the bolts, nuts, washers. Alrighty, you're going to have to use a lot of fingers for this part because we're going to put this mount here, and we're also going to put the spare wheel mount right on top of it there like that. And at the same time, I'm going to be trying to put the bolts and washers on there. So let's see if we can make it work. Now, if you don't have a helper, folks, you're gonna have to get creative, all right? Loctite. These big bolts, I don't know if they need it, but you never know, you know? This side, you're gonna put 3 washers on the inside and 1 washer on the outside. So here, and then show on top, 3 washers here. Okay, now we'll do the bottom one. Here, 3 there. That's on solid. That's on solid. Now we got to add in 1 piece right here. This piece, goes on right here, and the jerry can holder mounts in between them. You gotta put these bolts and washers on. They didn't include lock washers with these, so they want you to use, you know, look to height. So we'll put them on loosely right now. Then we'll add the look to height. We're almost done. Look, it's starting to look good already. Now we just gotta mount this jerry can holder. It's gonna go right in here like this. Slide right in. Let's see if we can get that in there. What's going on there? All right, let's see if that gets in there. It seems a little tight. It looks like we've done it. We've mounted the jerry can mount. Oh, it feels sturdy. Feels very sturdy. Let's mount the jerry can. Let's see how she works. There it is. Put a lock here, and that's it. Whitney, Houston, we have a problem. Yesterday, thought I was all done, but here we are, it's day 2. The install overall went pretty smoothly. The mount, it feels really nice and solid. Everything fit pretty well. Some stuff was a little tight, you know, we had to do a lot of wiggling and finagling, as they say, but we got it on. And, you know, I was pretty excited until I went to close the door. And look at what happens here. Kabam, it won't close. The lock is not lining up with the latch. And actually yesterday when I went to close it, I didn't know this was going to happen. It went and hit right here and put a dent and cracked the paint a little bit. So now I'm gonna have to take everything off and loosen everything up and see if I can get this door to align properly and close. And then we should be good to go. So let's get to it again. Alrighty, we've got everything loosened up. We've got the spare off. I went ahead and loosened all these bolts to where everything moves around a little bit like this. I noticed when we loosened them, what happened was everything shifted a little bit. So everything was under tension. Somewhere along the lines, we tightened stuff too soon is what that tells me. And I'm hoping that that was our problem with the hinge. Now, what we're gonna do is retighten everything, starting with the hinge. We loosened that also. That's why we got the spare tire under here again. I started to tighten the hinge back up. I also made sure to loosen this little bolt here that kind of holds this to the hinge also. So now I'm retightening the hinge. And I was looking here at where the paint meets the hinge and everything looks pretty nice and straight. There's no gaps, it doesn't look like it's shifted or anything. Once we tighten these two up, we don't have to tighten anything else, I don't think. We can just test the door and see if it's straight. Okay, let's try it. Move the spare out of the way. Well, that's gonna be a problem. Let me take a look, see here. Like it doesn't look like I can, unless I loosen the bottom one and I put 2 washers down there. Yeah, let's try that. I'm gonna loosen the bottom two bolts on the bottom hinge here, these two, and I'm gonna insert a washer on each side, which should technically push the bottom of the door away, the width of the washers, which in turn will tilt the door just a tad this way. Found a couple washers here, and I'm gonna use them as spacers in front of this plate here. So I gotta take these bolts off here. Okay, looks like that might be good. Okay, that one's in. Let's try the second one. It's going in. That's good. I really hope this does the trick. Okay, and now for the final verdict, hopefully. Please work. Yeah, it raised it. You see that? Instead of hitting the top part now, it hits this bottom inside part. Alrighty, so I'm gonna retighten everything, starting with the bottom. I tightened the bottom hinge, the top one I tightened. Now I'm gonna tighten this little bolt right here. That's nice. That's tight. Okay, let's go ahead and move to the outside. We can close the door now. Hopefully it'll close nicely still. Oh, I'm nervous about this. It looks like it's right on. I mean, and by the way, if you don't tighten this before you open the door, that will happen. So tighten this bolt and nut once you install this piece before you open the door, and be very careful. Keep an eye on this area when it opens because it got my Fuji a little bit. I touched it up with some silver paint. I have to add some clear coat. That's not the worst thing this Fuji's seen. Not scared of a little scratch. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten the spare wheel holder now. It's tight. Okay, now we just gotta tighten this guy in the middle. The kit came with some of these nuts and bolts here, about 3/4 inch long, and washers that you can use to connect mount bracket to the jerry can holder. But I actually wanted something with a little more security, so I got these. They're called carriage bolts. They actually fit perfect here because of these slits in the bracket, and it's really thick metal, it's strong. That size little square on the inside of the carriage bolt fits in there just right. It's just a little tight. All right, we have 3 more to go, and they are all tight after that. That's it. We're all tightened up. Let's get that spare on. The time has come. That sounded great. Didn't sound saggy. Yeah, it's right on. I guess we'll have the final say once the jerry can is full. We have the full weight back here. Still got to put the bike rack back on, but that sounds awesome. Opens smoothly. Everything looks okay. Close the test. I think it closes better than it did before. All right, folks, so that's it. Here you have it. Easy as pie, right? A couple of hiccups, but very doable. Thanks for watching FJ Cruisin', and we'll see you guys next time. FJ Cruisin'!